Good evening, good morning. I'm all over the place. How's everybody doing? This is the chicken box. I might need some chicken to get myself together. You ever wake up and don't eat and then go all day and then you have a hunger headache, then you hungry? I don't know where I'm going with this, but anyway, welcome to the chicken box, everybody. It is another beautiful Thursday, and I'm here with, we haven't been together in a while, Jay Jackson, Dr. Draper. We've been missing each other, but the whole crew is here together, and we're talking about singing, which I will not be doing through survival. And we're going to get into our special guests. But before we do, I just wanted to say, hey, what's happening with y'all?
Hey, things are well here in the DMV. The nice thing about technology and streaming and live shows is that we can be all over the world and still be together. And so it's beautiful in the DMV. The folk here in Baltimore are gearing up for Morgan State University's homecoming weekend and gearing up for yet another Ravens game. I see your jacket impeccable. We'll have to have another whole show to talk about that. Good to see you too, Jay Jackson, and just blessed to be in the house one more time.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to this great topic. If you've never heard about the chicken box and you're from Baltimore, shame on you, because I don't know where you grew up at. But if you're from another part of the country, this is where you get four wings, fries. They call it a half and half. You know, if you ever go somewhere else outside of Baltimore and call sweet tea and lemonade half and half, they look at you crazy. Or they'll give you half tea that's not sweet, and you're looking at them like, what did you just bring me? Anyway, but that's the chicken box. But here it's powered by the Afro. 100, we call ourselves Afro News now. We're now a media company. Started out as a newspaper, 133 years. And this is where you get on and we get to tell our story. We get to stand on the box and really talk about all kind of different issues and things. And today it's about singing through survival. And I like singing. I think everybody really likes singing, even if they can't sing. So that's the good thing about singing. But don't do it everywhere and expect somebody to pay you. Anyway, Jay, who do we have with us today who's going to be singing? Is she going to sing? I don't know. I'm going to push her on stage.
I don't think we're going to request that. She's a busy lady. Tracy Hamlin, who is definitely a household name. So Tracy Hamlin is a powerhouse vocalist, songwriter, and producer whose talents bridge soul, jazz, R&B, and dance music. A classically trained artist from the Baltimore School of the Arts and Peabody Preparatory School of Music. Tracy's voice has graced stages around the world alongside legends like Carlos Santana, Peebo Bryson, Will Downing, Chaka Khan, and Gloria Gaynor, serving as Gaynor's lead background vocalist and vocal arranger. As a solo artist, Tracy has released seven acclaimed albums through her label DMH Records, including Seasons, Better Days, This Is My Life, Home, and No Limits, 3 of which have reached #1 on the UK soul charts. She continues to collaborate internationally, releasing soulful dance music with producers across the globe. Beyond performing, Tracy is an educator, festival creator, and industry leader. She founded the Sweet Jazz and Wine Festival in Virginia, supports music scholarships for youth, and serves on multiple boards, including the Recording Academy in Visit Loudoun. Passionate about mentoring the next generation, Tracy Hamlin continues to inspire audiences worldwide through her music leadership and dedication in the arts. Tracy, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you guys so much for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
Your lighting looks great. That's a nice fake background you got there.
No, actually, I am coming to you live from Croatia, so I'm sitting in the lobby outside of my tent because there's so much going on inside. I couldn't find a quiet place.
No, I knew it was real. I just wanted to say it because it looks so good. Remember when everybody had those fake backgrounds and were just floating through the backgrounds? Like, we've come a long way since then. Croatia. Wow.
Yeah, so happy to be here. But first, I need to say, I have traveled the world and I have not gotten a chicken box like the ones I used to get in Walbrook Junction. So let me just start there.
Well, I grew up near Walbrook Junction. I don't know which one you're talking about. The one by the firehouse?
No, it was the one right there in the little circle. I can't remember the name of it, but right before you get to the high school, Walbrook High School.
Got you. I don't remember the name either, but I got one.
We froze. There we go. There we go. I
Excellent.
thought we froze for a minute. But yeah, good times. But I'm coming to you live from Croatia, where I have my third performance tonight. I'm here for Bowl Soul, which is a 1-week soul music festival. And there are people here from England, Spain, and Germany, and huge fans of mine. It's amazing to be able to come this far away from home and receive the love and respect. And when I tell you, these folks, they know my music sometimes more than I do. They'll tell me about songs I recorded years ago that I completely forgot about. So my cup has just been full all week.
Excellent. Excellent. Tracy, thank you for joining us. You're literally in the middle of about to perform in like an hour, I think. So we're going to try to make it fast. As I read in the bio, your bio is, your career is huge, right? It's very storied. And you have all of this, all this work that you've done with all these huge names in your own, solo career and everything like that. My question to you is, as a cancer survivor, and I, hate to jump straight to that, but this is Cancer Awareness Month, right, in October. How did that affect your career? I mean, you're on this like amazing trajectory, and then here you get this news in 2023, I believe. And where do you go from there?
Well, from once I received the education, of course, receiving the news, I was totally thrown off guard. I mean, I had a scare previously, so I was, definitely expecting the doctor to say, "Oh, you're all clear, false alarm." So definitely I was blindsided. But once I went to my first oncology appointment and received the education, it made all the difference in the world for me. So I just decided that it was all going to be all about my mindset. I purchased a pair of socks that said, "Dear Cancer, you picked the wrong biatch." And I had the t-shirt and the sweatshirt and the coffee mug, and that was just my mindset. So I was very strategic. At the time, I was touring with Peebo Bryson, and I was very strategic about, I had my chemo sessions on Tuesday, and then on Friday or Saturday, I would fly out. I did my gigs, and for many months, nobody knew. I was able to find a custom wig, and I just kind of decided to do my own research, be my own advocate. So I did things like black seed oil and soursop tea and apricot kernels. And I'm not a doctor and I don't play one. So I'm just telling people what I did. And I believe that those, me taking the homeopathic route along with the powerful chemo really helped to subside some of the side effects, because people just could not believe. And, for about 3 or 4 months, I didn't tell anybody. But when people found out, they just could not believe that I was still moving and shaking like somebody not walking around. I just decided I was not embracing that creature, and it made all the difference in the world for me.
Wow. My grandmother was a breast cancer survivor as well. She's passed away now, but and I just, I remember knowing that as a kid, and then just imagining what that's like, trying to be a parent, trying to like work every day, it's like sort of doing those things. I can't imagine what that's like, touring and then kind of keeping that to yourself. Do you find that there's a sort of an extra burden of keeping that information to yourself? Was there a power in that, or do you like look back on that and maybe handle it differently, or you're okay? Well,
I think there was power in that, because it was important to me that I didn't allow people to project their trauma and their drama onto me. And slowly, as people started to find out, it's like, "Oh, my cousin went through this and you need to talk to her." And I'm like, no, thank you. I'm good. So I'm glad that I handled it that way, because it kept unnecessary stress away.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, people tend to just go, "I have these ideas.
Yeah, you need to do this and you need to do that." And I just didn't want to hear it. I really didn't. And it was great protection for me.
Okay, that's fair.
So Tracy, Pink Notes. So before that, listen, let's give the fans a little something. Tell me what Croatia is like.
Oh, wow. Croatia is just peaceful, calm, serene, beautiful water, lots of greeneries. The architecture there, it's all the same. No matter which island you're on in Croatia, it's yellow houses with these brownish red roofs. And the food is amazing, inexpensive. Ladies, the shopping is amazing. Everything is made in Italy. Because, for years as I toured, I'm, a big shopper. And I would get home so excited about pieces I brought, and it would say made in China. And I'm like, but I was just in Spain or I was just in Dubai. Why is this saying made in China? I can get that at home. So what I love here, everything that I've been purchasing, it says, because we're really close to Italy. And the pieces have just been amazing. The people are just incredible. This is my fourth time being here, and when I come, I just feel at home, and I just love being around all these folks that know who I am, know and love my music. So yeah, it's pretty, it just pulls at your heartstrings, when you arrive and folks are so excited that you're here and can't wait for you to perform.
You said this is the third performance, so is this the third one in a row?
Yes, so I performed on, so what's today? Today is Thursday. I performed on Monday, I performed Wednesday, and then I have the bigger concert tonight because the other ones were kind of, impromptu, but this is the biggest show tonight.
All right. Well, for those who sing and know about singing, sometimes that back to back can be a toll on that gift. But looks like you got it under control, Trace.
Let me tell you, thanks to the incredible vocal instruction that I received from School for the Arts and from Peabody, it really has made a difference in the fact that when I'm on the road, knock on wood and everything else, I've never had any vocal issues because going to School for the Arts and Peabody taught me how to sing properly, and it taught me how to take care of my voice. So through the climate changes, the time zone changes, I've never had any issues, and I have asthma and allergies, but I'm disciplined. Like for instance, when I get off this call, I'm going to go up to my room. I'm going to steam my vocal cords. I'm going to warm up and drink even more water. Make sure I'm staying hydrated. But before I got on the plane to come here, I did lots of cardio. That cardio piece is huge. So it's all about discipline and technique.
So you have sing through the survival. Dr. Draper, our CEO, has joined us back. You wanna jump in because I know you got to go early.
And I want to jump into the amazing shopping. I mean, we can just have a whole conversation.
How much time do you have?
All right. I mean, what you bringing me back, Tracy Hamlin?
And I have to say it's all classic pieces. So I have things that I purchased from here 10 years ago that I still wear. So it's classic stuff.
I trust your style. We can have a conversation offline afterwards. And so sorry, I missed a little bit of the conversation. You all may have already talked about this in terms. We've done a lot of work around breast cancer survivor, and we put out a call. I don't know, Impeccable, did you talk about the call for the photo shoot already? So we put out this call for a photo shoot, and I can't tell you how much or how many people have responded to this opportunity. And the reason I know that it's a high volume is because folk who are not sure, how you get things in your text and you're saying, is this legitimate or not? So they're asking me. So my mailbox is full of folk, texting me and saying, is this for real? And somebody said, what's a DM? Right. So I'm like, hey, all right, why don't you just call the number? Call the number, you'll be okay. But it's a huge topic in the African American community, male and female. We did a whole supplement on it just a couple of weeks ago. And so what words of encouragement, you may have said this already, do you have for those who are facing a breast cancer diagnosis? And they're all different kinds of breast cancer.
All different kinds. I would say first, it's important for them to understand that being diagnosed with breast cancer does not equate to a death sentence. And I mean, I think it is expected. There's no right way or wrong way to handle it. But I think that it is important, like for me, once I received the education, that made a huge difference for me, because of course, as soon as I heard, I just thought, oh, this means I'm about to die. And I didn't know what kind it was. I didn't know what stage it was. And I was triple negative stage 1. But the other thing is that, is, as I mentioned before, so important to be your own advocate, because I had previously had a scare and I was going in for a follow-up to a lumpectomy that I had had about 8 or 9 months prior. And at the time I was traveling regularly. So when I scheduled the appointment for the follow-up, I literally had to beg them to give me the full mammogram. I said, hey, I'm touring, I'm super busy, both breasts are going to be there. Can you just do the full mammogram? And it was a, no. And I had to say, can I speak to your boss? Can I speak to your boss? And finally they said yes. And going in for that mammogram a little bit early is how it was detected, and the breast that they were not doing the follow-up for. And because triple negative is very aggressive, if I had not advocated for myself, I would not have found out probably for another 10 months. And at that point, who knows where it would have been. So I just think it's important, ladies, to make sure you stay on top of your mammograms, because early detection can save lives.
Mm-hmm. And
Yes.
early detection, persistence, regular mammograms. And I think that the recommended age has been lowered, right? It's women, what is young as 40 or 30, or I don't remember what it is now.
Yeah, I mean, the last I heard it was 40, but I really think between 18 and 20, because in my research, I have found more young women between the ages of 18 and 35 with all different kinds of breast cancer, and I found more younger ones than I did older women.
That's interesting. More younger than older. So another thing I heard you say, you had to be persistent. You had to advocate for your own health.
I did. And, I don't know if it's the Leo in me or what, but I just thought, listen, no is not an option here. I'm going to be there. I don't have time to keep coming back. And if I had not been persistent, they would have just done the follow-up on the left side.
Mm-hmm. And you said do the complete mammogram.
Yep.
Yeah, there is, African-American women are 38%, have a 38% higher mortality rate with breast cancer very specifically.
Yes.
So to your point, early detection and self-advocacy is huge. Are you finding yourself wanting to be more I mean, obviously you're very public about what you've gone through. Are you working with any organizations or planning on working with any organizations in your copious free time, I'm sure, to promote this idea of, this advocacy for Black women and for women in general, obviously suffering through this, but Black women very specifically?
Yes, I definitely am. There was an organization that reached out to me, and they had a whole event planned for Black family cancer awareness. And sadly, because of everything going on with our current administration, that program was terminated. So since then, I haven't found anybody yet, because I knew I had this tour coming up and I was not going to be in the States for the majority of the month of October. But for next year, I definitely plan to just dig in hard, fast, because I just think it's so important for anybody going through this to get encouragement, inspiration, and motivation from a breast cancer survivor.
Excellent.
So, you talked about, so you're singing your way through, and Impeccable teased earlier that everybody can't sing. We all have a voice. Talk a little bit about this gift that you have for singing. When did you realize you had it, or who realized it? Because there are a lot of people out here that really can sing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially now that the incredible talent is getting younger and younger. But I come from a very musical family. My grandmother used to sing in bands. My parents, well, my mother sang. My father thought he could sing, but we won't go there. I have 3 older brothers that used to imitate the Temptations and the Jackson 5. And so when they were not, and we lived in a house where we were we were located, I call it the community house. Everybody would just drop by on their way to church, work, wherever. And so we always had company, and my brothers would perform. And so if one was not there, I would fill in. And then, so that's when I got my first taste. And then when it got to the point, after I filled in a couple of times and all three were there, I was like, wait a minute, I don't get to sing. So I informed them at 5 years old I was no longer going to be their doo-wop substitute chick, that I was going solo. So at 5 years old, I just started doing my own thing. And by the time I was 11, I went to an audition for a popular local band called Fragile Glass. And my brother took me to the audition. And they kind of laughed that this little girl wanted to be in their band, but they allowed me to sing. And once they heard me sing, they put me on a gig a couple of days later, which was at the LaFontaine Blue in East Baltimore. And I have not looked back since. I mean, I've been in this band and that band. And by the time I was 12 or 13, I was touring up and down the East Coast. Mm-hmm. And then eventually that expanded to Europe when I became an adult.
I feel like I met you. Where'd you go to junior high school?
I feel like I met you too. I went to Green Spring Junior High School and then School for the Arts.
Gotcha. So my government is named Kevin Peck. So I do feel like we met somewhere along the way.
I feel like we definitely, I thought you looked familiar. I'm sure we've met somewhere in Baltimore. I mean, I did a lot of house music. I don't know if you follow house music. So I did a lot.
I mean, absolutely.
Like, the Collective Minds event. And
I went to school with Neil Conway.
Oh, yeah. I know Neil Conway. And then I did the whole pageant scene. As a matter of fact, back in the day, I used to be in the Afro-American newspaper all the time as Miss Baltimore with the mayor, Donald Schaefer. Hello.
You weren't in Jack? Were you in Jack and Jill? I know we're getting real Baltimore, y'all. So just relax for us.
I wasn't in Jack and Jill, but I'm very familiar with their organization.
Well, anyway, I've been Drew Hill's manager for 30 years. So after that, I just feel that we've been somewhere around the world together.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right.
I'm sure you know Bill Petaway, Jonathan Lassane, Joe Sane, Mo Daniel.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All of those guys. Absolutely.
And I see
we're very extremely proud of you, Tracy.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And I see we've had it flashed up there for a minute. Put that back up, Madam Producer. But with I think Bonnie said something about MLK element that you sang home from the Wiz.
So I went to Martin Luther King Jr.'s the intermediate school from 4th to 6th grade. Okay. And Home was my go-to song for any, Home or Natalie Cole's Song Lovers was my go-to song for any competition because, back in the day, they paid money. So I was like, I need this prize of $25. Let me get in here and see what I can do.
So what do you say to the survivors? What did the singing do as you went through your journey?
So, it was all a great distraction. So, like I said, at the time I was touring with Peabo Bryson, and I also played auxiliary keys in his band, meaning I played the string parts, the horn parts, the wind, and I did the duets with him. And so just preparing from week to week, packing, making sure I stayed up on all my parts, the keyboard parts, the vocal parts. It was just a great distraction for me not to think about, I got to go to chemo on Tuesday. But again, I always tell folks, and I can't even believe I'm going to say this publicly, but one of my greatest supports was TikTok. And people think TikTok is a bunch of foolishness, but TikTok and the experts, the oncologists that gave incredible information, as well as nurses, as well as survivors, those were things that I would take heed to. And if I implemented any information that I got from there, it really, really made a difference. I mean, with chemo, there's so many just horrible side effects, and just receiving information like, hey, here is a supplement that costs $12 on Amazon. And if you take this, it can help prevent mouth sores. It can help prevent nausea. It can help prevent neuropathy. And because there was one medicine that I had to take every week where I literally had to wear ice gloves and ice socks for an entire hour, and it would help prevent neuropathy. And, so at one point I started getting this tingling in my fingers, and I was just scrolling through one day and saw a survivor and an oncologist talk about L-glutamine, a supplement that could really make a difference. And I purchased it. And this was the only thing I saw that I actually talked to my oncologist about. And she said, I told her, I said, I've been responsible. I did my research. What do you think if I incorporate this? She said, do it. And when I tell you, it immediately took the tingling away. I got none of the side effects from the chemo that I was taking, and $12 made all the difference in the world. But again, what works for me may not work for you. So it's important to do your own research.
Mhm.
That's
I
fair.
love those public service announcements because the real medical people don't want you to know any of these things that could really happen, and you can't really go on record and say for a fact that this is. You can only say, "Hey, this is what it did for me." Now, whether you want to try it or not is on you, because a lot of
Exactly.
times, a lot of that other stuff is causing other things and taking you into a place and space that your body doesn't even really want to go. But there's going to have to be another show for that because we're going to have to survive through them trying to treat us instead of curing us. But
Yeah, and that's the thing. They want to treat you. They're not trying to cure you. And again, another thing that I did that was very helpful to me, because taking the chemo can damage your kidneys, your liver, and your heart. So once it was determined that I did not have to have any more chemo, because initially after I had surgery, they said that I may need 6 more months of chemo. So once it was determined that I would be put in a clinical trial and I had no more chemo, I went to this homeopathic doctor in Houston for 5 days in a row. She did a combination of acupuncture and cupping, and she also gave me herbs that would cleanse my blood. And she massaged lymph nodes from under my arms. And when I tell you the education that I received from her really made a huge difference. And then that made me come back home to my primary care physician and say, hey, I want to schedule a test to check my heart, to check my liver, to check my kidneys. And because of all the work that I put in, all of those tests came back with great results. I was in great shape because I was definitely concerned that the chemo had done damage.
That's wonderful. And you mentioned in telling us about that, you mentioned about clinical trials. So many people are just either fearful of clinical trials, uninformed about clinical trials. What would you say about clinical trials?
I knew for me that I did not want to have any more chemo. I knew how I was feeling. And again, like I said, I went to it was a Chinese herb medicine doctor who was also a traditional medicine doctor.
Okay.
So she was somebody I felt comfortable with because she knew from both sides. But when my oncologist is who approached me about the clinical trials, and I was interested because it would give me an option to not have any more treatment. And it's interesting because when she presented it to me, I thought I had an option, but you don't have an option. And once you say you want to be in the clinical trial, there are different tests that they run. There's several people that you have to speak with. And then they put your information into a computer that randomly decides, yes, you continue treatment, or no, you do not. So I was chosen to no longer have any more treatment, but I will be under doctor's care for the next 15 years.
Got it. So yeah, that's that placebo they do for some people. Some people get the treatment, some people don't.
Right.
You said once you sign up, you don't have a choice.
Right.
But it seems like you're thriving. So that's a good thing.
Yes. I try to eat healthy. I'm a work in progress with that. But, the exercise piece is really key. Even when I was going through chemo, I was getting up at 5, 6 in the morning, and I did at least 30 minutes on the treadmill, just to make sure that I got some type of exercise. And again, I think that could have made a difference to me not feeling the fatigue. And I didn't really start feeling the fatigue until after my 7th cycle. And so much so that when my oncology nurses and my oncologist knew that I was touring on the weekend, I think some of them thought I was not being honest about the fact that I was feeling great. And so after the 7th cycle, when I told my oncologist, I said, I felt a little fatigued this time. She said, well, I'm glad to hear, because I was getting worried about you. And I said, don't cry for me, Argentina. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. So
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to hop off. This has been fascinating Tracy Hamlin, and I'm not kidding about Croatia either. We'll have to hook up after this and figure out how we work that out next time.
Definitely, because it's gorgeous, and when I tell you the food is amazing.
Yeah, but you got me on the shopping. Now you've added the food. So you're stacking the deck. But all the best to you on your big performance on tonight.
Thank you so much.
Your giftedness and your talent and your resilience. And thank you for being so transparent about your journey, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you are encouraging, I know that you are encouraging other young men and women, because men get breast cancer as well. We just don't talk about it the same way.
Right. You're so right.
You're encouraging us to take care of our bodies and to be relentless about our health. And so whatever the diagnosis or prognosis is, that we have options. So thank you. You're truly an inspiration. Glad I had a chance to chat with you. It's not over yet. So to our audience, don't hang up. Stay there.
Just a few minutes longer, because Tracy's got to get that rest. She's got to get that vote. What's the time difference over there as well?
6 hours. I'm 6 hours ahead of you all.
Absolutely. So we're not going to be long, Dr. Draper.
Thank you.
Or Tracy. We're going to get to the pink notes. I want to get to the pink notes, because you think about pink notes, and then those little other notes, that Post-it notes. But then you think about the other pink notes. With you talking about the notes, I guess the musical notes. Which notes are you talking about when you talk about pink notes?
I said something about pink notes.
That's just the title. We can.
I've been reading pink notes the whole time. I'm like, man, that's cool. I'm like, that's real cool.
No, I do love that correlation though. I do. Pink notes.
I think that's what our producers, they just named the show. So I thought maybe that was your original. You can write. You can now write a song called Pink Notes.
I love that. You think about music notes, and then the whole pink as a representation of breast cancer awareness. So I love that, Pink Notes.
All right, when you put out your 8th album,
right?
Pink Notes, let us know.
I don't want no publishing on it either. Okay, let it go to the cause.
It's interesting. You said 8th album. At this point, in my mind, album number 7 is my final. Really? I put my heart and soul into the music industry, and the game has just changed. And I can't even tell you what it's about anymore, but I know it's not about music. So I'm just at this point, I feel like I've given my all. I'm an independent artist. My story is, when I couldn't get a record deal, I started my own label. When I didn't get booked for gigs, I became a promoter and created my own. And when I didn't get booked for festivals, I created the Tracy Hamlin Sweet Jazz Festival. And what I'm most proud about with the festival is that we use music as a catalyst to give back to the community. So with my 2-day jazz festival, I give 4 music scholarships for private music instruction, and we give donations to 2 local nonprofits. And the private instruction piece came about because I tell people all the time, music saved my life, music changed my life, because I was growing up in the rough streets of Baltimore City, and I was not headed down the right path. But if I hadn't decided to pursue a career as a singer, I don't know where I would have ended up. And so if I can make a difference in the life of one person, I've done a mighty thing. But to date, we've given 23 scholarships, and we've given donations to 9 nonprofits.
I had somebody ask me the other day, Tracy, can anybody become a singer?
Yes.
And the question is, yes. Well,
yes.
Whoever who I'm talking to, who asked me this question, if you're watching the Chicken Box. But
anybody.
Can anybody move to where they can be paid to be a singer?
Yes.
Anybody?
Anybody.
You know how they say everybody can't sing in the choir? So guys, if Tracy, you know what? You just need to go sell whatever course you have, because there's so many people who want to be singers, and sometimes you're in the wrong position.
Let me tell you, with modern technology, you don't have to have any talent. I mean, if I produce a song, literally, if I produced a song on you and you sang every note wrong, there is technology that would allow me to fix every note. Yeah. But nowadays with AI, I don't even need a person. I can just hit a button, get the voice I want, get the entire song completed. And I don't know if you all are familiar. I didn't hear about the first one. I only heard about the second AI artist that just got a $3 million deal with a record company.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's been years since record labels gave that kind of money. And this is an AI artist. The photo, the videos, the music, none of it is authentic or organic. It's just you hit a button and listen to the result. So at this point, I just
So you think that's going to translate live too, Tracy?
it won't translate,
Eventually.
but I mean, who knows what's coming? I mean, to me, this technology came quick, fast, and in a hurry. So I don't know if it's holograms performing. I just know that the music industry, for me, and from the lens that I'm doing it through, it's no longer about the music.
Well, not the industry, but the live performance to me, Tracy, cannot be replicated. You know,
That's what my husband always says, and it gives me hope because, I pride myself on, I'm a woman of a particular age, but because of the discipline and the technique, I still have the power, I still have the range, and people are always surprised. But and when I'm performing live, I'm giving you a 1,000%, and but I just don't know how much people care about that anymore,
I think, you are out there every week. I'm out there every week in a different city. And
Mhm.
I think the experience, and I think the fans who love real music, I think it can't be replaced.
Wait a minute, I'm
They
looking at Asia's comment. Yes, you and your husband could be the new Ashford and Simpson. Yes, you could. Sorry to cut you off.
Your husband sings as well.
My husband does not sing, but since we've been married, which it'll be 20 years in May, he's a computer genius. He has a PhD in management information systems. And so through that, he has just started creating all kinds of stuff. He loves EDM. He has 2 albums out. And I said, if you get some gigs, I'm done. But yeah,
He's gonna get some gigs. I'm banking on your husband. If some of these non-talented mojos or whoever we want to call them, mofos or whatever, are getting are getting without the work and the tears and the sweat that the artists who have been able to sustain for years have put into this game. It's really a semi slap in the face. You know what I mean? But it cheats the art to me, and
Mhm.
it cheats the public.
I would
It
agree.
does, but the sad thing is it doesn't matter anymore. As an independent artist, I used to spend my money on mixing and mastering. And now we're at a point where people listen to music through their phones. They don't even use earbuds anymore. So even with this 7th album, I had to really think about where I would spend the money because it doesn't make sense to spend the money on mixing and mastering because nobody cares and it doesn't matter anymore, sadly.
Mm,
Do you find that as an artist who has been around when this technology didn't exist, do you think there is sort of a balance between like classical, music making and this sort of future very AI driven thing? Or do you think that needs to be completely driven out of the industry? By the way, I'm not advocating for AI music at all. I think it's soulless, but do you think that there'll be some sort of weird balance where artists who actually are quite great at performing start to use this technology more to kind of further themselves, or where do you think that lies?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, anything goes. So it's really hard to say if it's going to continue to happen or if it's not, and who's going to win and who's not going to win. I honestly don't know, but from where I sit, I see the AI game winning because the fact that this artist was able to get a $3 million deal, it just left me speechless.
Yeah,
But
it's
Tracy,
happening in acting as well.
yeah, I think that's like not the norm, right? I
Right.
think that's like a thing because it's so new. Um, I think that's like getting struck by lightning. I don't think that the lightning is going to strike and every AI artist is going to. Well, but you know what? You could be right. You
I'll just
could
wait
be
and
right.
see. I mean, the fact that she is the second one in this short amount of time, and I actually had a friend who knows that I have a label reach out, and he said that I'm getting behind the ball and I need to produce at least 2 AI artists. And I said, I'm not interested.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
He said, I'm leaving money on the table, but I'm done.
Yeah, it's wild. I remember, I forget the name. Actually, I do know the name. I don't want to say the app that you can literally just type in, this is what I want the thing to say. This is the type of music I want.
Right.
And it's not, hey, I'll get back to you in an hour with something. It's like, here it is in 11 seconds. Here's this like jingle or whatever. It is literally soulless. It takes, I don't have any sort of musical talent whatsoever. Trust me, I don't. And to be able to do, I can't explain to you how bad I am.
But you can learn how to sing. Now go to Tracy's course. Okay?
Yeah, no, I need to sign up. Trust me. If anybody needs help, it's me. But it is amazing how you can just sort of churn out this music. And because of algorithms and stuff, they can literally look at like, what's the beats per minute that people like to hear and stuff like that, and make something that.
What's the frequency that makes people happy? What frequency makes them do whatever?
Right, exactly. And so it is scary. I don't know what the future holds in that, but I appreciate that you are what I would argue is a genuine artist who is making real music, and you're still doing it even through chemo and all this traveling. Again, I am extremely impressed that you can do all of these things even without having to deal with breast cancer at the same time. But I appreciate that you're capable of doing this. It's amazing.
Well, thank you for saying that. It's been, needless to say, it has been a journey. And while I am not a mainstream artist, I'm not a household name, what I've done equates to success to a lot of people. I performed in over 58 countries when a lot of the legendary artists that I've worked with have not. But it's all about when you have the cash machine. Like, for instance, the first single from my 7th album called Nothing Can Stop Me Now, when it came out, I had radio promoters hitting me up saying, hey, if you have $50,000, I can take this song to #1. And I just thought, okay, what's the guarantee? What if it doesn't? When you're going to come back for 50,000 more for the second single? And it just takes money. If you have that kind of money to invest in a record, it can go to #1, because it's all about programming people. To give this person $50,000, I'm actually paying for their network and their relationships. Right. And it kind of reminded me of when Whitney Houston first came out. I know radio promoters that worked that record, and the DJs said she couldn't sing. And then Clive Davis put $1 million behind her in marketing and promotion, which put her song in a power rotation where people were playing it every hour to every 90 minutes. And, Peg, about the power rotation and the whole money thing.
Oh, you giving up the game now, Tracy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a crazy thing. Like, even if you bought a radio commercial, like you were hoping. Like, I remember when Drew Hill first came out, and we were getting 50 spins in the market, or sometimes 35 spins. But if a song was usually 3 minutes long or something, 3:30, whatever it was back then. But if you got a 30-second commercial, that's like 10 commercials, really. So really, the money for the marketing, it's not that much, but it still is. It's the game, right? It's the game. Whether you like Lollipop, or you like Laffy Taffy, or whatever other song I'm just picking out some songs now that they just played, and you all of a sudden find yourself singing. It's because what we used to call the brainwash money.
True, because there are songs that I don't like, and I walk around singing them. So at the grocery store, I'm like, why am I singing this song?
Right.
I've been programmed.
Even, so the programming is what usually separated who, quote unquote, went up the charts or whatever else. And every single label, those labels were paying for that go up the chart visibility, so that they could make money from the artists all kind of other ways. But we're gonna have to have a singing through surviving the music business. But guys, anybody who's been with us, this is the Chicken Box guys. We haven't even said hello to you. Ricardo, Bonnie, Diane, Asia, Blair. People who have commented. Share this. This is Baltimore's own Tracy Hamlin. She's in Croatia. And if you started with us, it was daytime. So look how beautiful her background is now. It just kind of evolved. I just noticed that
Right.
it's a 6 hour difference, and it, the evening is upon us, and she has a great show today. We're gonna wrap unless Jay, you have another question. But I mean,
You're good.
uh, I'm I'm singing in my mind through all of the survivors of cancer and the ones that I know and the ones that have even passed away. And when you put a song to it, when you said People Bryson, I don't know why Can You Stand the Rain came
Oh, he has so many great songs.
came out. Was that a duet that you sang with him?
Yes, I did What You Won't Do for Love, Beauty and the Beast, A Whole New World, and Tonight I Celebrate My Love.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
All of those are classics. But anyway, I
But
can
can
sing.
I just quickly share about, if you're looking for an anthem that is motivational, inspirational, uplifting,
Please. Yeah.
I encourage you to check out my single, Nothing Can Stop Me Now. That is the first single from my album, and my album is called Nothing Can Stop Me Now, as well as my new book. I'm a first-time author. I wrote a book. It's called Nothing Can Stop Me Now. So all the titles are Nothing Can Stop Me Now, because that is really how I feel when I look back at my journey. And my book is about my music journey and my breast cancer journey and lessons that I've learned that you may gain something from. So check out that anthem, because it is what I dance to in the morning, and it really gets me through and keeps me moving.
Excellent.
I'm going on Apple Music now. Is it on Apple Music?
Yes, it's everywhere. All
Okay.
streaming,
All digital.
all
Nothing
digital.
can stop me now. And
Yes.
and I was like, ain't no stopping us now. But now here's the remix. Nothing.
Nothing can stop me now. And the book is available on Amazon, and it will eventually be in Walmart, Books A Million, everywhere within the next 2 weeks.
Excellent.
Absolutely. You are now back in the day, Tracy, and everything was about the archives of the newspaper, but you are now in the Afro archives. Guys, we are powered by the 133-year-old oldest Black media family company in the world, right here in Baltimore. Baltimore has been doing it for a lot of years. And now, Tracy, you are welcome to the archives. So when the future comes, the future generations, they won't be looking for a newspaper. They'll be looking at these digital things, and they'll be like, "What are these? You guys are making these?" And just, these will be the old cassettes at that point. But but right now, and you've graced us on our digital stage, and we thank you for showing up. These are the final words, guys, for getting on the box. I'll get on the box first. Music, it translates into all languages. And through all things. And if you think about just the many emotions and trials or journeys that you've gone through, even the good times and the bad, you probably have a song for all of them. And I love how you say singing through the survival. And even just, I'm a guy who hears one word and then the song comes on. I'm like, I will survive. You know what I mean? Everything is just popping up in my brain. But if you could just put some music on sometimes, guys. Sometimes you work so hard and you don't even turn on any music during the day. I think it's really therapeutic. And sometimes just dance when nobody's watching. You don't have to be good at it. Just like singing. I don't agree with you that everybody can sing. They can sing, but I mean everybody shouldn't hear what they sing.
With technology.
Okay, add that to it. With
Yeah.
technology, everybody can sing. Without it,
Well, that's a different story. But we
2%. 2% at
all right,
best.
I'm off the box. Tracy, thank you. I hope we run into each other one day. And I hope your husband, gets booked.
Yes, he's right here. He's like, yeah. Like,
Yeah, he's clapping it up, I'm sure. I'll go next, and then Tracy will end with you. Again, your career is storied. I'm sorry to hear that you're not planning on doing any more future albums, but I'm sure you will keep working and keep mentoring and keep being an inspiration for a lot of young singers and survivors and everybody who just loves your music. Look, I cannot say enough how impressive it is that people go through these situations. Obviously, you are not just this issue that you went through, but I just can't help but think how doing all that you've done coupled with this is just impressive in and of itself. But I think your career in and of itself is impressive. Take the cancer and slide that to the side. and you're finishing up your mini tour in Europe. You got this book coming out. You got this album coming out. Yeah, keep going. I think it's awesome. I think you are an inspiration to a lot of people. It is impressive. I'm exhausted reading all the stuff that you've done and knowing that I probably could not even remotely keep up. So I think that's dope. So keep doing what you're doing, and thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you all so much for having me. Thank you for seeing me, and I just can't thank you all enough for inviting me to your platform, and thank you for having a platform like this that allows independent artists like me to be seen and heard. So thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Go to afro.com. We're not owned. They're not telling our story the way we need to be told. So we will continue to tell a story, but we need you. It's always been about the people. The people have always held the Afro down, and the Afro has always held the people down. So go get a subscription. For less than 2 Uber Eats, you can, for $40, you can have a digital subscription, and you can be a part of the family of helping us bring great stories like Tracy to the world for the next 133 years. And always call a senior. They are looking for your call. Matter of fact, if you're inspired to sing, call them and sing. I'm waiting to hear it. Anyway, until next time, thank you to our producer, Dr. Draper, Jay Jackson, and Tracy Hamlin. Have a great show tonight, and enjoy. It's beautiful. You get to travel with your husband too. That's even better.
Yes. He describes it as being my masseuse, my driver, my baggage handler. I call it being my supporter.
There you go. Whatever gets you to Croatia. I like it. All right, everybody. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.